5 toxic relationship habits you might not realize you have, and how to fix them. How many times have you seen a relationship go up in flames and everybody says, "Well, I didn't see that coming"? Let me tell you something, folks. Relationships don't usually crash and burn overnight. It's like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it at first, but if you don't fix it, you're going to end up stranded on the side of the road. Many times, it's the little everyday habits, the things we do without even thinking, that chip away at the foundation of a relationship. In this video, we're going to dive deep into 5 of these toxic habits that can sneak up on you and how to start changing those patterns before it's too late. The silent treatment emotional withholding. You know what I'm talking about. You're upset, maybe even furious, but instead of talking it out, you shut down. You go silent, give the cold shoulder, maybe even storm out. You think you're teaching your partner a lesson, but let me tell you something. You're not. All you're doing is building a wall of resentment. See, emotional withholding is a passive-aggressive way of dealing with conflict. It's a power play, plain and simple. And it's toxic because it prevents real communication and intimacy. It's like trying to have a conversation with a brick wall. You're not getting anywhere, and the frustration just builds. Now, I understand that sometimes you need a moment to cool down before you can talk rationally. That's perfectly fine. But here's the key. You have to communicate that. Instead of clamming up, say, "Honey, I'm really upset right now. I need a few minutes to gather my thoughts and then we can talk about it." That's respecting your partner and the relationship. Keeping score in a relationship. This one's a real relationship killer. You know what I'm talking about? Every time there's an argument, you bring up the past. You whip out your mental scorecard and start listing every single mistake your partner has ever made. "Oh yeah, well, remember that time you forgot to pick up my dry cleaning?" Or "That's rich coming from you after what you did last summer." Listen, folks, love isn't a game. You're not keeping score. When you constantly bring up the past, you're not resolving anything. You're just throwing gasoline on the fire. You're telling your partner that they can't ever make amends, that they'll always be defined by their mistakes. And that's a recipe for disaster. Instead of dwelling on the past, focus on the present. What's the issue at hand? How can you work together to resolve it? And for God's sake, learn to forgive. Holding on to grudges is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The dependency dilemma. Let me tell you something, folks. A healthy relationship is all about balance. It's about finding that delicate equilibrium where both partners feel supported and valued, yet free to be themselves. You need to be able to depend on each other, to be there for each other, but you also need to maintain your own identities. This means having your own interests, hobbies, and friends outside the relationship. On the one hand, you have those who become overly dependent on their partner. They need constant reassurance, always seeking validation and approval. They can't make a decision without their partner's input, feeling lost and insecure without their partner's guidance. Their entire world revolves around the relationship, leaving little room for personal growth or individual pursuits. This can be incredibly suffocating for the other person, who may feel overwhelmed by the constant need for attention and validation. It's like being trapped in a codependent bubble, where there's no room to breathe or grow. On the other hand, you have those who swing to the opposite extreme. They're fiercely independent, priding themselves on their self-sufficiency. They don't like to ask for help, believing that relying on someone else is a sign of weakness. They keep their partner at arm's length emotionally, avoiding vulnerability and deep connection. They might think they're being strong and self-sufficient, but the truth is, they're just scared of intimacy. They fear losing control or getting hurt. They're afraid of getting hurt, so they build walls to keep everyone out, even those they care about the most. This fear of vulnerability can lead to isolation and loneliness, even within a relationship. So they build walls to keep everyone out, thinking it's the only way to protect themselves. The key here is finding that sweet spot, that healthy balance between dependence and independence. It's about mutual respect and understanding. You need to be able to rely on each other without losing yourselves in the process. It's about being a team while still being individuals. This balance is the foundation of a strong, healthy relationship. Invalidation. The ultimate betrayal. You know what's worse than being wrong? It's being told that your feelings, your emotions, your very perception of reality are wrong. Being told your feelings are wrong can cut deeper than any argument or disagreement. When your partner comes to you with a problem or expresses how they feel, and you dismiss it, minimize it, or tell them they're overreacting, You're essentially invalidating their entire experience. This act of invalidation can create a chasm between you two. You're saying, "Your feelings don't matter to me." You're telling them that their inner world is insignificant. And that, my friends, is a surefire way to destroy intimacy and connection. It's like building a wall brick by brick, each act of invalidation adding another layer. See, when you invalidate someone's feelings, you're not really listening. You're shutting down the conversation before it even begins. You're not trying to understand. You're not engaging in a meaningful dialogue. You're too busy trying to protect yourself, to avoid any discomfort or responsibility. It's a defense mechanism that ultimately harms the relationship. But here's the thing. Relationships are messy. They require effort, patience, and a willingness to be vulnerable. They're full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows, triumphs and disappointments. It's a roller coaster ride that you both signed up for. And if you're not willing to be there for your partner through all of it, the good and the bad, then what's the point? What's the value of a relationship if it can't withstand the storms? Instead of dismissing your partner's feelings, try validating them. Show them that you care, that you're there for them. Say, "I understand why you feel that way." It's a simple yet powerful statement. Tell me more about it. Encourage them to open up, to share their thoughts and feelings. Even if you don't agree with their perspective, at least try to see things from their point of view. Empathy is the key to a strong, lasting relationship. Time, the most precious gift. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. We often find ourselves rushing from one task to another, barely taking a moment to breathe. Work, kids, errands, social media, it can all feel like a never-ending to-do list. The demands on our time seem endless, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the thing, relationships take work. They need nurturing and care, just like a garden needs water and sunlight to thrive. They require time, attention, and effort. Without these, even the strongest bonds can weaken over time. And if you're not careful, you can end up neglecting your partner without even realizing it. The distance can grow silently, unnoticed until it becomes a chasm. You might think, "Oh, they know I love them. They understand how busy I am. I don't need to tell them every day." But the truth is, everyone needs to feel loved and appreciated. It's a fundamental human need. But the truth is, everyone needs to feel loved and appreciated. Small gestures, kind words, and quality time can make a world of difference. And sometimes, that means making a conscious effort to carve out time for each other. It's about prioritizing your relationship amidst the chaos. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's the thought and effort that count. It could be as simple as having dinner together without any distractions, sharing a meal and a conversation, going for a walk in the park, enjoying nature and each other's company, or just cuddling on the couch and talking. These moments of connection are invaluable. The important thing is that you're present, you're engaged, and you're making your partner feel like they're a priority in your life. It's about being there, truly being there, and you're making your partner feel like they're a priority in your life. These shared moments build a foundation of trust and love. Remember, folks, time is the most precious gift you can give someone. It's irreplaceable and invaluable. Don't take it for granted. Cherish every moment you have with your loved ones. Outro: building a stronger relationship, one step at a time. Look, changing any habit takes time and effort, but the rewards are well worth it. When you're willing to address these toxic habits, you're not just improving your relationship, you're investing in your own emotional well-being. So, what's one habit you think couples should work on more? Let's start a conversation in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to hear this. And I'll see you next time.